Thank you for watching this Last Mile Profits video.
It seems that Gary Winter and I are in complete disagreement over the USO. Now, if you want to find out what the USO is, assuming you don't know, or why we're in disagreement, take a look at the latest Last Mile Profits video. Experience the future of convenience with modern Expo parcel lockers. Cutting-edge innovations that bring parcel delivery to a fundamentally new level. Gary, I've been preparing an article for Parcel and Postal Technology International on the USO.
Who's USO? Or USOs in general?
The universal service obligation, the thing that means that postal operators need to deliver our mail in a fairly efficient manner, pretty much to everyone. That USO.
Well, obviously, I've worked at Royal Mail for over 5.5 years, and the USO is the DNA thread that runs through the organisation. So, yeah, it's an important thing.
Well, honestly, what got me thinking, Gary, is we all know today that this is a really difficult thing to achieve given financial restrictions, the fact that there is less and less mail, and the fact that costs are going through the roof. And I came to the conclusion, and I'm hoping you're going to challenge it, this could be quite fun, that actually the only way to make the USO work, if you're not going to be heavily subsidizing the postal operators or charging an arm and a leg to the customer or offering very, very poor performance, would be to actually deliver out of home to access points or lockers, with one exception. People who are maybe senior citizens or who are not able to get out and about, probably there'd be an exception there. But for everyone else, out of home. That was really long, Gary, but here you go. What do you think?
I think the absolute need to deliver to every home is an absolute need. I genuinely do believe that. But what I would come at it from a different direction. You know, you've heard in the UK, Royal Mail have protested to Ofcom, well, maybe we can deliver 3 times a week or lose Saturdays or something like that. That I think is a better answer. If you make receiving mail any less convenient than home delivery, I think you're just going to accelerate the death spiral of volumes even further. But I also think that the number of times I have something delivered at home that is even vaguely time critical is getting lower and lower and lower and lower. You know, and for that, there are services for that already. There's special delivery, there's sign for products. You know, if things are urgent, you want to get it into somebody's hand by a certain time, absolutely. But most of the time, the stuff that's turning up now, frankly, if it took an extra day, because I'm on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you're on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, then bring it on. I don't see the urgency anymore.
Well, first of all, you're right, because the first article I wrote on this topic included some information from Norway, where actually I think Boston did some research and found that a lot of people didn't even know when their non-registered mail arrived. So I think that speaks to your point that yes, people are not really so sensitive about, you know, the basic mail. The only comment I'd make is that it shouldn't be less convenient if the access point or locker is slipper distance. Because theoretically, if you're on the 20th floor of a block of flats and you have to go down to the ground floor to pick it up, to pick up your letter from the mailbox there, or go an extra 15 meters to the nearest locker, it's not much of a difference. And the quid pro quo is it is a huge difference for the postie who can go to a communally accessible access point and drop off the letters there.
Well, that's assuming he doesn't have to come down my road anyway. That's assuming that we manage to marshal all these senior citizens that you're imagining into one street and he just delivers to them there. Unfortunately, they disperse themselves everywhere. So the postman's still got to go down every street every day or every other day or whatever it turns out to be. So I don't necessarily agree that that's going to work. I don't know what the latest figure is, but at one point, Royal Mail were going to 86% of addresses every single day. So how many of them do you take out? I think you destroy whatever efficiency is actually left in it. I don't think that yours is the right.
What about Gary? Because you do have let's say, business mail or priority mail, which typically what happens when you do something like this, and even when you do your 2 or 3 day rule, the business mail goes every day. It's a different postie or courier, depending upon who you're using to deliver it. So theoretically, the people who are unable, for objective reasons, to leave home could be in that group, and the postie that is doing the USO letters, in that case, wouldn't need to go everywhere. He'd go, or she, to the dedicated access point.
It's possible. I'd be more tempted to group parcels and the priority mail in together, because they tend to have tracking. They tend to need to have some kind of delivery confirmation. So you could have a two-tier service where the low priority stuff is delivered to you twice a week, 3 times a week, and then the high priority stuff, within which I include parcels and packages and anything with a signature, anything with a timestamp on it, could be the second wave. And those go around on another vehicle a lot of the time anyway now. But I know we are the last mile prophets, and I know we're passionate about lockers. But I think mail is. When we started talking about this, we were more concerned about what we're going to create the death spiral of cost, and I think that's the bigger issue. Is that as the prices get jacked up, less and less people are likely to use it for something that isn't a priority. That in turn reduces the volume. The costs are static, more or less. It is actually a very efficient network. It's very difficult to imagine a more efficient way of delivering the final mile than raw mail and some of the postal services do it now. But as you pull volume out and the cost stays the same, then the price has to go higher and higher. The net effect is you're going to pull more volume out.
Well, I think this is exactly it. The cost won't remain the same, because if this works, and I'm completely on board with the fact that the priority mail or the mail to the people who can't get out would go together with parcels, because typically that would be. There's actually a client we're working on a project like this with, where they're putting parcels, priority mail with a driver rather than a typical postie. So we're aligned there. I'm relieved to say we're not agreeing on everything, which is really good. So we're not aligned on the USO. And I would say that actually not only are we able to make it much more efficient, provided you have a very proximate and effective out-of-home network, because I completely agree, the UK is not there yet. The UK would not be a place I would test this in terms of the USO out-of-home. But there's one other thing, Gary. With this model, we could also offer service 7 days a week without having, any of or without having many of the cost issues, because the lockers and access points in most cases will be open. So
Potentially there's some benefit I hadn't considered that.
So how about this? I think this is really cool, and I'm actually pleased we disagreed. Please comment below. Maybe other people have got some other views, hopefully in favour of the new USO. But if not, then supporting, of course, Gary with his comments. The article will come out on Parcel and Postal shortly, and you'll be able to also comment that on LinkedIn. From my side, great discussion. Let's see where it ends up. And, who knows, Gary, in 3 or 4 years' time, some kind of hybrid of this may develop. Thanks for watching this Last Mile Profits video. For more up-to-date last mile news and analysis, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn.